Does Qatar still feel betrayed, or has the situation changed? Where is Qatar heading?
No, I mean, Qatar sincerely feels that Iran has completely turned its back on them. And I don't rule out that Israel, to fuel the dispute between Iran and the Arab Gulf states, aims to drag the Gulf region, the Arab Gulf states, into a direct war against Iran. Well, maybe, or at least I assume it could possibly be the one that actually did that. Yes, I think so.
What is the evidence for that? Is the Iranians' talk alone evidence?
Honestly, I really don't have any evidence at all.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Jamal Al-Mulla from the UAE. This is Gulf Uncensored in cooperation with the Arab Strategy Forum. For many years, we as Gulf citizens, whenever the Iranian issue is discussed, a class of writers and intellectuals from the Gulf itself emerges to repeat the common proverb to us. The Iranians weave politics, just as they weave carpets with patience and precision, and that a single piece of carpet is not made public and displayed until after 12 years of meticulous work and patience. By God, we are the ones who have been patient with you and your clichés that are completely unfounded. And today, the time has come for us to stop with the carpet analysis and the brokers of Iranian furniture in the region. Listen to me, you oblivious intellectual, both of you. Iranian carpet weaving fundamentally relies on enslaving a class of young girls to work in harsh and exhausting conditions that human nature does not accept. The little girl grows up and grows old knowing nothing but the loom and the wool threads, and she dies only for another little girl to take her place and ultimately meet the same fate. This example you've dizzied us with serves as an example of enslavement, the narrowness of life, and the lack of choices. This is how we should see your sterile example of the Iranian weaver's precision and patience. It is patience with enslavement and the lack of opportunities for a better life. Do you want to know who the real strategic weaver in the region is? The real strategic weaver in the region is the one whose reality was this in the year 1979. Simple internal lines and even simpler lines with the rest of the world. Then the strategic weaving began with all patience and precision, year after year, connecting internally. And at the same time, it connects the world with it. It connects and links the world with it by land, air, and sea. Transportation and trade lines, mutual interests, and joint investments. Expansion in all directions and in all fields with precision, patience, planning, testing, and execution. Don't tell me about the Iranian and his weaving and so on. Speaking of this Iranian of yours from 1979, the carpet weaver, huh? Where's the connection? Where's the weaving? I see the loom is broken. And back in 1979, things were better. Now the Iranian carpet is isolated, disconnected internally and unlinked externally. Remember the story about the young girls I mentioned earlier? This is the reality of the Iranian carpet weaver. He ties himself to the young to enslave them and steal their efforts. That's in Iran. While in the Emirates, we celebrate Emirati Children's Day under the slogan of healthy childhood. A national responsibility, a huge difference. Let's go back to the Iranian weaver, a regime that ties itself to the small, which is why all its political and strategic relations are with militias and groups outside the state's scope. While the Gulf weaver only accepts dealing with the big players, with states and major entities, the big only accept the big, you intellectuals, both of you. The Gulf person goes to the United Nations to obtain a resolution condemning Iranian aggression and finds support from 136 countries, the highest number any resolution has ever received. He takes the resolution and goes to have it approved by the Security Council. It receives support from 13 countries, and Russia and China abstain from using their right of veto. The veto. Why did they abstain? Let's go back to the map. This is the reality of the Gulf. Look at the volume of mutual interest between China, Russia, and the Gulf states. While this Chinese-Russian link with Iran, and on top of that, it's not a link, but rather the world is what binds Iran with 8,779 sanctions. You Iranian, you are bound, not linked, poor, destitute, not worthy of a veto. And the result is Iran being struck militarily multiple times and at different moments without being able to defend itself, at least in the air. A country without air defense, without naval power. While the Gulf succeeds on its own, by God's grace, in defending itself against Iranian aggression. But the question is, why doesn't the Gulf retaliate? Why settle for self-defense? To answer these questions, my guest from the state of Qatar. Dr. Ali Al-Hayl, Professor of Political Science and Media and Researcher in International Affairs. Welcome to the program, Gulf Uncensored.
Welcome, my brother. Mr. Jamal, at your service, please go ahead.
Tell me how Doha is doing first.
Praise be to God.
Praise be to God, Doctor. Why doesn't the Gulf respond to Iranian aggression?
The Gulf has responded in a sufficiently robust and measured manner to Iranian attacks, collectively with brilliant success in repelling Iranian missiles and drones. I had hoped that Iran would not slide down this dangerous slope. It could have saved all those missiles and all those planes and launched them at the Zionist enemy, at the Zionist entity, which is the common enemy of everyone in the Arab world, and in the Islamic world and the Arabian Gulf, and the Arabian Gulf states are no exception. The second point, I'd hoped that Iran would win over Gulf hearts and minds, peoples, governments, and leaders, but unfortunately, many a seeker, though clear-sighted in his quest, failed to achieve what he sought. And this applies specifically to Iran. The Gulf states do not want to go beyond or exceed simply responding to Iranian aggressions in the way we have all seen. Because the Gulf states are too smart to be dragged into a war that is not theirs, into a war, and it's not Iran's war, and it's not the United States of America's war, but rather it is Benjamin Netanyahu's war. And you are well aware, my brother Jamal, as you are a reader, an analyst of regional and international events, and perhaps you heard the speech of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani last September, when he said that Benjamin Netanyahu dreams of making the Arab region an Israeli sphere of influence. And this is a dream, and God willing, it is an unattainable dream. We do not want Iran to fall or the Iranian regime to change into a pro-Israel regime, not necessarily out of love for Iran, but rather out of a genuine fear that if the Iranian regime collapses, if Iran falls, or if Iran becomes significantly weakened, then Benjamin Netanyahu might quickly move to try to take control of the lands stretching between the Nile and the Euphrates. And that, as His Highness the Emir of the state of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, may God protect him, said he would make the Arab region an Israeli sphere of influence. And you all heard Lindsey Graham, for example, from the heart of Tel Aviv, when he said, "We are in a crusade against Islam and against Muslims." Then he appeared on Fox News 4 days ago, and I am sure that you, my brother, Professor Jamal, I distinctly heard his words when he said, with a firm and unwavering voice, the Arab Gulf states must enter into a direct war against Iran. And we all told him in the Arab Gulf states to try something else, because we understand it, not just as it's flying, as our Egyptian brothers say, but we understand it before it even takes flight. If we were to enter into a direct war with Iran, the United States of America would withdraw from managing the current conflict to managing arms sales to both Iran and the Arab Gulf states, to drain them and weaken both sides. Then the wolf, in parentheses, Benjamin Netanyahu, would jump in and find the path open to control the Arab region between the Nile and the Euphrates. This is my understanding, and this is my personal point of view.
Well, Doctor, so we won't see, in the near or distant future, a declaration of war by the Gulf states against Iran? I mean, this won't happen, in your estimation?
No, that would be strategic stupidity.
Will there be? Are there any indicators?
No, none at all. Excuse me, my brother, Mr. Jamal, this is strategic stupidity, meaning strategic stupidity. But I know very well that the rulers of the Arab Gulf states are rational and wise, and they are too smart to be dragged into a war in which they have no stake. And we must be more rational than the Iranians.
Well, Doctor, you mentioned that Iran should save its missiles and drones and instead focus on facing the Zionist enemy, which is Israel.
Correct.
Why hasn't Iran done that, though? Why, really?
It has done that.
If you'll allow me, Doctor.
It has done that. It strikes daily.
But not as much as it strikes the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Oman. I mean, Doctor, that Benjamin Netanyahu is the one who killed the supreme leader. He's the one who killed Ali Larijani. He's the one who killed the leaders. He's the one who started this war. But the strikes are on the Gulf states.
Perhaps, but no, it's not Iran. is striking Israel and has hurt Israel, as evidenced by the fact that Israel twice sent a message to the Iranian side to stop the war, as did the United States, due to internal reasons related to Israel and the United States of America. But I have said more than once on international channels, on RT English, I said that perhaps there is a party or parties within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and we know that all of Iran is infiltrated. And the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is, of course, no exception whatsoever to this kind of infiltration. Perhaps it even coordinates at times with certain parties in Israel and with the involvement of one of Israel's key allies, there is the potential to launch attacks targeting the Arab Gulf states, which could end up dragging the entire Arab Gulf region, as well as the countries that make up the Gulf system, into a direct and potentially very serious war with Israel. I do not rule out this possibility at all. Furthermore, Lindsey Graham is openly encouraging us to take such steps, and Benjamin, too, is involved. Netanyahu wants us to do that, and all the enemies of the Arab Gulf states want us to do that. So perhaps there are parties or a party within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard or outside of it, inside Iran, that through these attacks is trying to drag us into a war that is not our war, my brother, Mr. Jamal.
True, but Ali Khamenei was killed on the first day, and the first, second, and third tier leadership were killed, according to Trump, I mean. And today we hear about Ali Larijani, the man Larijani as well.
Ali Larijani, the man...
Right, the man, I mean, who has great influence in Iran. People were saying that Ali Larijani was the one actually ruling. Who's next after Ali Larijani? Who's next to lead Iran?
Israel is currently making a determined effort. Israel and its allies are working very hard to assassinate all of the active Iranian leaders, and it shows absolutely no sign of stopping with these assassinations. In fact, during the 12-day war that took place last June in the year 2025, Israel assassinated several key figures. And in this war, they killed more than 70 high-ranking officials, including military commanders, security officers, and top presidential leaders in Iran, causing a significant loss to the country's leadership. And these assassinations will continue.
Now, Doctor, if you'll allow me a question I might have missed. Qatar was one of the countries that enjoyed balanced relations with Iran and helped Iran a lot. It didn't fall short with them. And the foreign minister stated in the first week that Qatar feels betrayed. Does Qatar still feel betrayed, or has the position changed? Where is Qatar heading?
No, Qatar really feels that Iran has turned its back on it, just as it turned its back on all the countries of the Arab Gulf system. It did not respect the rights of the neighbor, nor did it respect the rights of neighborliness and the state of Qatar in any way at all. Made the Iranians understand that what it is doing, or what the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is doing, and I assume at least, that there is a disconnect between the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the political leadership represented by President Masoud Pezeshkian and Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister. The foreign minister has messaged Omani and Saudi officials more than once. And he told them, for example, that the Aramco strike, we have nothing to do with it. And he messaged the Omanis. And he said that the Salalah strike, for example, we have nothing to do with it. And I do not rule out that Israel, to fuel the dispute between Iran and the Arab Gulf states, in order to drag the Gulf region, the Arab Gulf states, into a direct war against Iran. It is possible, or at least I assume, that perhaps it could actually be the one that did that, yes.
What is the evidence for that, Doctor? Is the Iranians' talk alone evidence?
I do not have any evidence, and I do not have a laboratory for forensic analysis, for scientific studies, but I assume that, and this is actually what Abbas said.
Well, Doctor, I mean that hypotheses must always be built on premises.
On grounds of reality.
True, but the fact of the matter is that when Iran targeted Oman and the Gulf states, it admitted it. They did not deny it. Then later they denied it. And you... Do not forget also, Doctor, that Iran has proxies. So when a leader in Iran comes out and says, we are not the ones responsible for targeting, Aramco or Salalah port, they have the Houthis. They have militias in Iraq, everywhere.
Yes,
I mean, the planes too, Doctor, are filmed, you see. I mean, the moments of the strike are filmed on phones. They are Iranian Shahed drones.
yes, but we should not. True, but yes, this is what the foreign minister stated when he messaged Prince Faisal bin Farhan, the Saudi foreign minister. And the Qatari officials, including both the prime minister and the Qatari foreign minister, as well as the Omani officials, specifically the Omani foreign minister, Badr al-Busaidi, have been told that Iran is responsible. In other words, most of the strikes are Iranian strikes and clearly bear the fingerprints of Iran. But 3 of these strikes, the Iranian foreign minister said they were not of Iran's making. But as you mentioned earlier, they could actually be the work of one of the militias or one of the Iranian proxies in Iraq or in Yemen.
In any case, Doctor, of course, the Gulf states went to the United Nations and obtained a resolution. There is a near consensus of 136 countries. Sponsoring this resolution, the Security Council voted. 13 countries from the Security Council voted in favor of this resolution, and China and Russia abstained from using its veto power. Meaning, there's international consensus on this government's rogue behavior.
Yes, sure.
I mean, Iran, no one disagrees about them.
That's the idea. No one denies, look, absolutely no one denies that Iran, with its attacks on the Arab Gulf states, really brings up major question marks. And as I told you, I assume there are parties or a party within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard or outside the Iranian Revolutionary Guard coordinating with Israel. It's possible because Iran is compromised and they're coordinating with one of the allies.
Coordinating what exactly, Doctor? Coordinating on what?
No, they are coordinating in secret to strike the Gulf states, preparing to launch attacks on the Arab Gulf states in order to provoke them. From the perspective of those parties or that party, in order to drag the Gulf states into a direct war.
So now you're saying there might be an infiltrated party in the Revolutionary Guard coordinating with Israel. For this party in the Revolutionary Guard to target countries that were, closer to Iran, like Oman. Are you assuming this hypothesis, Doctor? I don't know the hypotheses I have.
This is a hypothesis I have. Excuse me, my brother, Mr. Jamal, this is a hypothesis I have. Otherwise, why? Why, while Iran is busy in a war against Israel, why does it attack the Arab Gulf states? And why did it choose?
Well, that's why I brought you here, to ask you this question.
Yes, and why did it choose to attack the Arab Gulf states while Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan have American bases?
I'll tell you, Doctor, I brought you here to ask you, and I'll answer you. Arakchi came out a day after the strike and said the Gulf states must pressure the United States of America to withdraw its forces and end this war, meaning he struck the Gulf states. He thought there would be chaos, right? And the Gulf states wouldn't be able to handle these strikes, and consequently they would pressure the United States of America to withdraw. These are his own words. I'm not making this up. These are the words of their foreign minister. After all, where else would we get the truth from? If their foreign minister says this, it means this was their strategy at first. But it seems this strategy has failed, Doctor.
Of course. No, and the Gulf states pressured the United States of America. I know perfectly well that the state of Qatar, for example, since December 2025, has been pressuring the American administration, and there's a consensus within the American administration to postpone the strike, if not to end the strike. And indeed, the American president postponed the strike several times under pressure from the Qatari state. And there are other countries in the system as well.
Saudi Arabia, the Sultanate of Oman, also started playing a role.
Exactly, in pressuring the United States. And up to this moment, Qatar and the Arab Gulf states, whether individually or through collective thinking, they are consistently working behind the scenes and, through quiet diplomacy, are holding ongoing dialogues with the United States to bring an end to this war. This is because the Gulf states export 2 highly strategic commodities to the world, oil and gas. We always place our trust and confidence in political stability, and thank God we are indeed politically stable. This stability extends not only to politics, but also to our economic situation and the investment climate, both of which are direct and natural results of our strong political stability. Praise be to God. We are countries that consistently attract both direct and indirect investments from around the world, thanks to the secure and stable environment we have maintained. As a result of what? As a result of the presence of safety and security in our Gulf countries, and this safety and security would not have been possible without political stability and economic prosperity. Yes, my brother.
Doctor, briefly now, in your professional view, where do you think this war is heading?
This war is, in my honest opinion, heading towards escalation and expansion, unfortunately, unless something new happens. We really do not know how to define this or what might come next, or define the concept of this new thing, but the war is expanding, and Israel is deliberately expanding this war through assassinations, and Iran will, of course, respond to these assassinations. And Iran is striking deep inside Israel. By the way, from inside Israel, we are getting news. Of course, there is a blackout by the Israeli government. There are fines and there is imprisonment for more than 5 years for those who filmed the scenes. But these scenes reach us, and we are sure, for example, many Western voices like George Galloway, like John Mearsheimer and others in the United States and in Europe say that Iran is very much hurt by this war, and from the destruction and from the almost daily shelling, we have reached the 58th Iranian wave, and the Israelis are demonstrating almost daily in large protests, and the Israeli police are confronting them with sound bombs and with tear gas bombs on a daily basis. This has become...
I understand, Doctor, but according to the ranking, the Emirates is at the top, followed by other Gulf countries. Israel is roughly in fourth place in terms of targets. This is the reality of the numbers. I don't know if there are other sources. That's another matter.
I mean, the Gulf states are at the forefront of this targeting, including Qatar itself, you know. The Arab Gulf states are one single entity. Why do we have a cooperation council for the Arab states of the Gulf? The Arab Gulf states, we always want them. We want them. They are more rational and wiser than us. We might be emotional. They, of course, bear the responsibility of caring for their people, and therefore they must be more united as one and speak with one voice. And I hope that this formula for the Cooperation Council since 1981, which hasn't evolved, I hope it transforms into a confederation at the very least. And if we cannot form a confederation, we could establish a collective defense system unit.
An alliance similar to NATO.
An alliance similar to NATO. And if these current circumstances, which we are all facing right now, don't motivate us to actually do something like this, then honestly, when can we ever really do it? Dangers now surround us from every possible side, and when it comes to geopolitical relations, well, Iran has significantly disrupted the geopolitics in the Arab Gulf region and the area in general. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Ali Al-Hayl, Professor of Political Science and Media and researcher in international affairs. You've done a great job, you've enlightened us. Our regards, and please give our greetings to family and loved ones there in Doha. May God protect you.
Thank you, my brother, Mr. Jamal. My regards to the colleagues and to all the brotherly people of the Emirates.
You've honored and enlightened us. May God protect you.
Peace be upon you.
And upon you be peace and the mercy of God and his blessings. So that was the opinion of Dr. Ali Al-Hayl from the state of Qatar. And we continue with you in this program where we cover events, opinions, and everything new in this ongoing war in the Gulf. There is no power or strength except with God. God willing, this crisis will pass peacefully. Always follow us on social media platforms at arabcast.ae. Be well and stay in God's care.